Okay, we are live. I just jumped in a bit early so that I can use my headphones and get straightened up here as I'm learning more about this technology. I think I'm stubborn. I had help offered. Okay, so I just want to make sure my mic is on. We are live. You can still hear me. We're going to test this out. Beautiful. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot to share, a lot to talk about. Before we jump in, I'm going to do something. I don't think I've done this live before. I've definitely done it in live in-person sessions, not live online. I haven't opened up in prayer. I normally do it before I come, and in prayer or libation or anything of opening. I normally do that before, but I've been led to do that live, to be honest. So I'm just gonna burn my frankincense. This is Frank Moore, my incense. Normally this is burning already. I already burned my morning routine meditation that I do. We're going to talk a little bit about spiritual hygiene. I'll share what I do. I can't tell people what to do, but I will definitely share what I do. So we're going to just put that there. And I just use this to ground me. I burn incense to help ground me. Incense, or if you have sage, they have medicines in them. So even when we inhale them, they support definitely our aura, our energy. So if we're feeling heavy, if we're feeling anxious, if we're feeling stressed, if we're feeling bitter, even unforgiveness, which is what we're going to touch on today, these are different natural tools and medicines that was given to us by nature to support us, to ground us, and to release that doesn't serve us. Yeah. So right now I can see that we're live. I am standing today because today is a day that I have to move my legs. And pretty soon I'll have the camera that just follows me. But we're not there yet. So we're just going to open up in prayer. We give thanks. We give thanks for the land that we're on. We give thanks for those who came before us. We give thanks to Mother, Father, God, Creator, Buddha, Krishna, God, Olodumare, Jah, Ra, whatever name that you call your divine being. We give thanks that you are here, that you're able to breathe, that you are alive. There's a lot happening right now on earth. So we pour this libation to give thanks, and we say these affirmations and these prayers to give thanks, and we send out our prayers of love, of peace, of kindness, and we give gratitude to the soil that we're on. We give gratitude to the land that we're on. We give gratitude for the intelligence that runs through our veins. Yeah. And we pour this in gratitude and in thanks for those who came before us and for the intelligence and love that's in us. So today, a lot's been happening. I kind of pivot a little bit because you gotta go with the times, right? You gotta go with the times. And we're in a time where there's a lot happening, right? A lot of fire energy, a lot of anger, fire, polarities, things like that. So I just wanted to open up with just some breathing and holding silence. So spiritual hygiene, mental hygiene, emotional hygiene is something that is big for me, especially from an African, indigenous, and non-traditional ways. That's my core. That's my lineage. That is my bloodline. That is me to the core of who I am. And I've been doing this since '08, '07, '08, practicing different types of traditions depending on what's needed for my wellness. And this is how I was able to deal with my own anxieties and my own low moods and any post-traumatic traumas and compound traumas and anything that I may have lived through, whether I knew or did not know. These are the things that supported me. So I'm going to just start off with breath. So in mental health first aid, when I teach and train mental health first aid, it's a 2-day certificate course, and we teach breathing techniques when someone's having a panic attack or an anxiety attack. But I'm just going to teach this just to help us ground, and then we're going to go into forgiveness and some other stuff that's been coming up. And I'm going to share some personal stuff because this is why I'm here. I'm here to let you know that wellness is your birthright, and it's my birthright. And I'm going to just share techniques and bring some people on that supported me through my wellness. Yeah. So one of the techniques, we can use box breathing where it's in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, in for 4. So that's the box breathing that we normally do. But just to keep it simple, pimple, okay, just to keep it simple, I am going to offer that we envision a cake with 50 candles on one cake. And yesterday was my birthday. So let's pretend we're celebrating my birthday, okay? Let's pretend we're celebrating my birthday. And there's 50 cakes. I'm not 50 years old, but sometimes I feel like it. And you need to blow all the cakes in one breath, right? So that's the deep breath that I want us to take from our core. Okay, at the count of 3, I want us to take a deep breath and blow out our mouth. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more time, nice and slow. Deep inhale in. Blow. And let's just take a deep breath for those who are holding their breath because of terror, fear, war, or if their lives are in danger, or even if they're the perpetrators, right? Let's take a deep breath for them. And then the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, inhale. Hold and blow out all the candles. So I do this breathing when I'm even scrolling or online. I do this type of breathing, and I do it more subtle. I was just over exaggerating a little bit just to show what it can look like, sound like, feel like. I do this breathing when I'm in meetings. I do this breathing when I'm scrolling, and it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Or if I'm holding space, or if I'm releasing myself, or if I have judgment of myself or others. So I do this deep breathing and it recalibrates me. So you're not thinking one thing, feeling one thing, and then acting in a different way and having your action and deeds in another. We make our thinking, feeling, and action and doing all aligned. And you do that in a breath. And that is very, very important as we living through the times, according to what my elder says. He's just, living in the times, right? Whatever the times may be. And what breath does, it recalibrates some of that fear and that anxiety. Fear is thoughts of the future. Depression is thoughts of the past. So if we're feeling very, very anxious and jittery and panicky, that means we're 5 seconds ahead or more. Or if we're feeling heavy, regret, sadness, even racing thoughts, sometimes that is of the past. And that could be the last 5 seconds we're stuck. So what we do in the breath, and what I've learned, I'm going to share it for me, the breath has just calmed me down. And if anybody knows me, I was some called me a hothead. Some called me very anxious. Some called me unsettled, ungrounded. And sometimes, I'm human. I do get there. But this is how I practice my wellness, my spiritual hygiene, especially with times that are uncertain, externally uncertain. So that's the one thing I wanted to share, is to hold space and share how I breathe and how I take care of myself when these things are happening. The next thing I wanted to share is about trauma. And I had the opportunity, the privilege, not even the opportunity. I had the privilege, and I got to drink some chia seeds here because my mouth is getting kind of dry. This is what happens when you're live, yeah? I need to get hydrated. My lemon, my chia seeds, my water, Normally, if there was another guest, I would have taken a sip while they're talking, but we're going to see who we're going to bring on next week. But I need to get a little bit of hydration here. I had the privilege this week to speak at Maximum Security to Black Offenders for Black History Month. And I celebrate Black History Month all year. Like I that's, I'm African, right? So I don't confine to a month. But if people call, I go, and I honor definitely those who came before. If we have opportunity to take time and pause and just be, I will take advantage of that opportunity. Yeah. And in that session, first of all, this is the first time that Maximum Security in the Edmonton region, Black offenders were allowed to celebrate in this capacity Black History Month. It's never happened. So I give thanks to those who are currently working their butts off, hooping loops to do this work in the maximum prison. So this week I had the privilege and the honor to do some work with Black offenders in the prison system in maximum security. And so it's very traumatic, like just going in there and as an empath and as a person that does energy work, driving into the land, just the road of where it's on, you feel the shift in the energy. So you're on regular land here, and then you turn onto this road, and the energy shift was like, whoa. That I drive, I park, I walk in, and walls carry energy. And in prison, every time I go, I get chills. I love prison work, and I love justice work, and I love justice healing work. But the building and the structure is not my favorite. Just like doing work in the hospitals, I love doing work in health, but to be in a hospital building is not something, because I can feel the energy. But the point I'm trying to make is the structure in itself was very, very heavy, right? Loud gates, guards, all that stuff. And shout out to the guards out there that are doing phenomenal work, who are trying to break, some of the stigma in the system. And what happened is we started the circle, and I opened up always in prayer and libation. That's just what I do. And everyone's like this folded, just, I don't know if I can move my camera because I'm standing, and they're just folded like that. Yeah. So the body communication is 80% nonverbal, 20% verbal. And that's with someone who's not anxious or spiraling or AWOLing. Yeah. So I could already say, like, they're like, who's this girl? What are they going to say? Blah, blah, blah. And what I realized in that moment, or what I was I didn't realize it, what I was what I was called to remember is what I should say, is that we are interconnected. That Ubuntu, we are interconnected. I am because we are because I am. We are interconnected. Though they are in the confinement of those four walls and not feeling freedom, there are a lot of people out in the free world, they're free in the world, who are confined in their own mind. They are confined in their own trauma. They are confined in their own unforgiveness. They're confined with their own anger. They're confined in their constitution. They are confined in their religion. They are confined in their limited beliefs. They are imprisoned in these different thoughts, feelings, modalities, or what have you. Yeah. So I started there. We started with the opening, and then we started about think, feel, do, which is the formula that I work with, which is very ancient. And this is not teaching. I'm not teaching. I'm just saying we started with the think, feel, do. And one of the gentlemen, he's like, Miss, I understand what you're saying, and it's all good, but you're out there. You're free. We're in here. One gentleman had said that it was 5 years before he could even get to medium low security. So he's in the max for 5 years. And to him, that's a short time, right? So, and I said to the beloved, I said, you may be confined by these rules in here and these walls, but nobody can take away your mind and your spirit and your soul. That cannot be confined. That's only confined by the commander chief, which is yourself. And I know that to be true for me, because I've been free on the road, but felt so much terror, living free on the road, scared of myself, dishonoring myself because of my fear, making up stories about people, making up stories about reality, making up stories about myself. And then I abandoned myself. I abandoned my truth. I abandoned my talents. I abandoned my destiny, why I was born, why I was here. And then I start to make self-sabotaging decisions. Yeah. And so I shared a little bit of my story, not much, because it was about them, not me. I just needed to show that there's synchronicity. You know, the difference is just degrees of vibration and degrees of thought. But feeling confined in the mind is probably one of the mental captivity is probably one of the worst imprisonments, to tell you the truth. So going through that, and we're talking, and then I'm realizing, okay, one of my elders always say, if it's in the seed, it's in the room. So if it's happening to them, there's parts of happening to me. And I thought, where am I being imprisoned or allowing something to keep me in captivity? Yeah. So I thought about that, and I realized there's two things that I'm going to share. I'm going to get a little personal here. Okay. Personable, not personal. Let me just say that. And one thing I realized is that I love wide, I love deep, and I love genuine. And it takes a lot for me to put up boundaries to not express that love. So the love will never stop, but it would be like that in terms of setting boundaries. Like it would never stop. I just have to be, mindful of my energy. And I reflected back in my life, I would say probably the last maybe 5 years. And I realized that I had unforgiveness within me. Yes, spiritual doula has unforgiveness. And some of it, most of it, was parts of myself that I did not forgive, parts of myself that I did not let go. And I started to get angry, but I was really angry at myself. And this fire, right? And as I started to release, because awareness doesn't mean healing. Awareness just means what it is. You see it's an observation, but you got to take action. So the thinking, so I have to think differently. The feeling is like, whoa, okay, this is not feeling good. I got to shift it. But there's a doing. There's an action and embodiment. So you take action, then you become a new person, become new. And because of the work I've been doing for so long, this happens with me within minutes sometimes, right? It doesn't take months anymore for me to reach this point, right? Sometimes weeks, when it's conscious, when it's brought to my awareness. So I realized that I was hiding myself, and I was unforgiving of the things that I did to myself in my life that I judged to create somewhat of a setback. So I judged myself and I didn't forgive myself, which made me more angry at myself, of judging that what I did wasn't the best choice for myself. And what I do know to be true to the core of me now is that all happens for our highest good. All happens. You need heat to turn that coal into diamonds, right? So I'm not going to judge good, bad, evil, greatness or good or anything like that. What I will say is I had to shift from one side to another side. So I'm going to talk about it as energy. So once I said, oh, I just have to release that, release that judgment that I have, and just know that I did the best that I could at that time. And I continue to do the best that I could in this time, because we only have the here and now. Once I think, the next 5 seconds or the last 5 seconds, I'm going into low moods, depression, or I'm going into anxiety and panic. I only have the here and now. And I will not bring, because, the scientists say that I think it's like somewhat 80% of our thoughts of yesterday is brought in today, and only 20% is like new thoughts. No. I want new thoughts every day. I want it 20-80, not 80-20, right? I want a 20% maybe thoughts of yesterday, so I could not forget where I come from, not forget my roots, remember the greatness, remember the blood that runs through my vein. So I want that to be 20, but I want 80%, the here and now, to create a new thought, a new feeling, and a new decision. Whether it's around eating, drinking my chia seeds, as you can see, drinking my water, my alkaline water. That's just for today. And I love coffee. I'm not giving up coffee yet, but it's black. And so I just stay in the here and now. And why am I bringing this up? As I was doing this here and now, later that day is when I found out about all the war or the missiles and bombs that are going off in the world, right? So I realized as I was shifting in real time, releasing, forgiving, there was this fire and there was this mess and things just, coming out, because release is like, it's toxins. It's thoughts and feelings and emotions and patterns and habits and ways of behaviors that no longer serves us, right? So I'm doing, my releasing, and probably at the same time, I don't know, but definitely in the same day were the missiles and everything that was happening. And here I am thinking again, we are interconnected. So in the prison, I had a reminder that we're interconnected, right? He may have, or the circle, the individuals in the circle, they may be physically confined, but hear me out on the road working and moving up and down. And I was mentally, not now, like in 07, 08, 06, 07, 08, 09, like, around that time, I was mentally, emotionally in captivity. Right. And the feeling isn't the feeling isn't different. Right. how it's happening might be different, but the feeling of captivity, of feeling trapped in your self-judgment, to feel trapped in someone who's hurt you, and 10, 15, 20 years later, there's no forgiveness, there's no release. To be in captivity in that emotion, right? That is same as someone who is in physical captivity in jail, because you feel trapped. You don't feel like you have any choice. You feel like you got to be defensive. You got to feel like you got to be on your guard. You got to feel like you can't forget and forgive. It's the same energy. So here's this beautiful memory in the prison. And, that led to my own internal stuff to start questioning. And then while I'm releasing, I'm seeing what's happening in the world, right? Across the world, I should say, it's happening in the world on a conscious level, but that's a different conversation. And now I see the bombs and all this stuff happening. And I said, if I can shift the own bombs that I was setting in my life, if I can shift the sabotage, the self-sabotage, if I can shift ruining certain friendships and relationships and having to reconcile if it was repairable, if I can shift the war that's happening on my cells when I get sick or when I was sick, if I can shift that and heal that, what can we do as a collective for this world? As above, what we see in the stars and the moon, so below here on earth. As within us, in our mind, body, spirit, and emotions inside of us, so without in the world. The world is reflecting the world's consciousness. And in real time, the world was reflecting the bombs I was setting and the harm that I was setting in my life and myself. And so as I was releasing, and thank God I'm a part of groups where we could, either pray together, one or two, and then I'm in another bigger group. So I'm very grateful that I have different people that I could have conversations and prayers and beautiful conversations, and we call in from the unseen to be seen. We call in groundbreaking peace, groundbreaking joy, because we're calling in war, because that's what we're talking about. As within us, we're talking and thinking, feeling war. So as without, we're going to see and experience war and catastrophe. But if we go within and said, you know what, I am going to forgive myself. I'm going to release that unforgiveness, especially unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is poison. It's venom to the soul. Unforgiveness doesn't hurt anybody but the person feeling it. And that's a whole different, chat that I'll invite somebody to have that conversation, because I think forgiveness would be good if we heard it from different perspectives. Yeah, not just mine. I know I had to forgive. I lived through abuse, betrayal, everything, and I knew I had to forgive. And so, I don't want to digress. I'm going back to, in real time, I'm releasing the bombs. So and this is my experience, and I'm pretty sure it's other people's, if I was able to do that, see it in real time, couldn't I be my own medicine and then be the medicine of the world? We all know the butterfly effect. The wings, the flapping of the wings of a butterfly can impact and affect a tycoon. That's science. Fact check me. Chat GBT me. Okay? So I wanted to share the importance of release, the importance of deciding, of thinking and knowing, like, I need to forgive. And this is stuff that I'm practicing. I am not perfect. I'm just sharing kind of what's happening in my life. I'm just sharing how I'm maintaining, sustaining my own spiritual hygiene, mental hygiene, emotional hygiene. Yeah. And what a way to share it on a public platform instead of my small groups. Because this is why I'm here. Because I was having wonderful conversations with people, and it's like, can we record and post? And it's like, let me just come out and put myself out there. And I had to figure it out. I'm still figuring out. This is probably my best organized week ever. See my logo. You see, I have the little logo of Sacred Health and Wellness, which you can, Google us. We're going through a little bit of a shift and a little bit of a rebranding, so you can watch out for those things coming. But I just wanted to share my own experience around forgiveness, unforgiveness, and how that impacts the collective. And if I'm impacting the collective negatively, I can also impact the collective and my family and friends positively. So I'm continuing to do the work. Forgiveness doesn't mean we let people in, right? Forgiveness means you release. And that's why earlier I showed different ways to breathe. Box breathing in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, or one deep breath and pretend to blow out 50 candles in one breath, right? That's the simplest way I can share how to start to release. Right? So if the thoughts are coming, we release. Then once you release, we got to replace with a positive prayer, a positive affirmation. So we did some breath work, just a little bit, just to kind of show what I do, really. I'm just offering, how I maintain and sustain my health and wellness. And we did some prayer and affirmations and acknowledgement of the land that we're on and those who came before us. That's my thing. Your thing could be whatever. And then once you do that, just observe. 24 hours. Just observe. 21 days, 7 days, 5 days, 3 days, 90 days. If you do this work, like really, really want to see a shift, do this for 21 or 90 days, or, and really, really, really see that anger. And what I mean, this work is deep and real. If I could forgive, people who violated me and in my own journey, anybody can do it. I'm not a superhero, right? I'm just Hathor-Ra. Yeah. So I just wanted to come up here and share that. And we're at our 30 minutes, which is great. I can't believe I just talked for 30 minutes. Well, I'm a teacher. I'm a facilitator. So of course I could talk for 30 minutes. I just want to close out in prayer. We opened up in prayer. I want to close in prayer. 11:01. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful timing. We're going to close in prayer. Just take a breath. Mother, Father, God, Krishna, Buddha, Allah, Olodumare, God, Creator, Jah, Ra, whatever name you, we, us call you, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you for breath. We thank you that we can shift 1,000 people around us in one breath. We thank you for that power. We thank you for that inner standing, that once we think of peace, once we think of love, once we think of groundbreaking soothness and calmness and fairness and equity, that it is so and so it is. So we give thanks for that inner knowing, inner understanding on a cellular level, on a molecular level, and on an energetic quantum level. We give thanks. It is so, and so it is, as we continue our day in peace and love. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Namaste. And we did it. This is probably the first show. I got it all right. Maybe next time I'll stand up, because I'm standing up on my new stand-up desk. Yeah. Right? And my little fatigue mats, that's how we do when we do this work. So that's how I take care of myself. I'm like, I can't be sitting down, right? I got to be moving. And so I'm just taking care of myself, and I'm practicing what I'm preaching to the best of my ability. Namaste. Create a day filled with joy, peace, love. Keep the world in your prayers, and keep yourself first in your prayers. Yeah. Blessings, love. Take care. Bye.